for you, Kimmy, you've always been heralded as the honest, Henrietta. So I want to make sure that, you are able to answer these questions that a lot of people want to know.
Answer everyone you got.
Okay, perfect.
Give me some more. Ooh.
Do you think Maurice is cheating on you?
What just transpired between Kimmy and Marsau Scott will astound you. There is much more going on here than just another Love and Marriage Huntsville drama. Fans were shocked by Marcel's outburst about Kimmy, and his treatment of her mental health has everyone talking. Why is Kimmy's welfare at the center of all of this? And is this just tough love, or has Marsau gone too far? Hold on tight, because what we are going to discover is extremely frightening. Although Marsau Scott has never been one to mince words, his remarks have caused a significant uproar this time. Even devoted viewers of Love and Marriage Huntsville have been shocked by what transpired between Marsau and Kimmy, despite their familiarity with the intense arguments and dramatic confrontation. There are significant concerns about Marsau's handling of Kimmy's mental health issues. Did he go too far, or was he being brutally honest? We're explaining exactly what transpired, what sparked this heated exchange, and why fans are describing this situation as frightening in this video. We'll also examine Kimmy's difficulties, Marsau's reaction, and the implications for their future dynamic. By the end of this video, you may have a completely different perspective, so pay attention. Examining the past between Marsau Scott and Kimmy Grant is essential to comprehending why this situation escalated as it did.
Normally, in most of our situations, I tend to read a lot more into the situation than sometimes is necessary. And then there's some times where I think he might be thinking about a situation, but yet he don't really say it on the outside. However, at the end of the day, I'm there for him when he needs me. He's there for me when I need him.
Although their relationship has always been complicated, supportive at times, tense at others, things have recently taken a turn that nobody anticipated. It's evident to viewers of Love and Marriage Huntsville that Kimmy has been going through a lot. She has been candid about her difficulties, which includes significant personal issues that have impacted her mental and emotional health. Kimmy has had a lot on her plate lately, whether it's the demands of her marriage, her health journey, or the dynamics of her friend group. They don't need any more stress, but Marcel has never been the most sensitive person in the room. He rarely sugarcoats anything, has a strong personality, and speaks bluntly.
I think it's in a moment like this, I think that lesson learned.
Yes, but you can know something, but hearing it from somebody else make it probably hit a little different.
You think somehow me going to talk to him about something is going to be a wake-up call? I think it's a tough situation to even be suspected of a DUI.
While some find his no-nonsense style admirable, others find it dismissive and icy. And opinions about Kimmy's behavior have frequently been conflicted, ranging from supportive to almost disrespectful. What specifically caused this explosive moment then? According to people familiar with the matter, Marsau and Kimmy have been harboring underlying tensions for some time, whether it's because of personal grievances, unresolved issues from previous seasons, or simply the strain of their lives. Their relationship had been lacking, but then it reached a breaking point, the instant that rocked the fan base and made everyone wonder, did Marsau really just say that? Before delving into Mara's startling remarks, though, let's examine Kimmy's past and the reasons behind the seriousness of this discussion regarding her mental health. Once you see the whole picture, you'll see why fans are calling this frightening. We must take a step back and truly comprehend what Kimmy has been going through before we can analyze Marsau's explosive remarks. This isn't just about one intense argument, it's about everything that has been accumulating behind the scenes. And when you look at it that way, you begin to understand why this whole situation is so alarming. One of the more composed characters on Love and Marriage Huntsville has always been Kimmy. She is calm, intelligent, and has frequently served as the group's mediator when conflict arose. However, people are unaware of how much more is happening behind that serene facade, and she has been having difficulties lately that many fans didn't completely comprehend until recently. Her health has been one of her greatest obstacles. Anyone who has followed her journey is aware of her candidness regarding her fight with breast cancer. The mental and emotional toll that fighting cancer takes is something that is frequently overlooked, despite the fact that it is already an extremely difficult experience. Even though Kimmy has made an effort to remain strong, anyone in her shoes would feel overwhelmed by the uncertainty, the treatments, and the exhaustion. These factors impact every aspect of a person's life. The strain of her relationships is another factor. Her marriage to Maurice Scott has been turbulent, and fans frequently argue over whether he has been supportive enough during her health crisis. In addition to the drama of the friend group, the alliances, the conflicts, and the ongoing tension that comes with being a part of this social circle, there have been moments on the show where it has seemed like Kimmy is carrying a lot on her own and trying to remain strong, even when she is obviously exhausted. Even though it's a lot for anyone to handle, Kimmy's situation is particularly burdensome. Therefore, the subject of her mental health wasn't brought up suddenly or during a chance conversation. Rather, it had been simmering for a while. For a while, it seemed like people were finally beginning to realize that Kimmy needed support because she has been under a lot of stress. But then Marsau arrived, and rather than urging or supporting, he shocked fans with his outbursts. His words were harsh, not just blunt. While some claim he was simply being himself and telling it like it is, others think he went too far. What exactly did Marsau say, and why is there such a strong backlash against his response? This is the scary part though, because after hearing what he has to say, your opinion of him may completely change. Marsau Scott has a reputation for being direct, sometimes too direct, and is no stranger to controversy, as anyone who has watched Love and Marriage Huntsville for a while knows. He rarely backs down from a heated argument and is the type of person who speaks his mind, regardless of who it may offend. This time, however, his remarks cause a full-fledged firestorm rather than merely a little drama. What specifically did Marsau say that has people furious? It all began when Kimmy's mental health was brought up in a conversation, whether it was behind the scenes or on camera. Something about the conversation triggered Marsau, and rather than reacting with understanding or empathy, he adopted an entirely different tack. Sources claim that Marsau downplayed Kimmy's emotional state by making remarks that implied she was overreacting or being overly sensitive, dismissing her struggles in a way that left fans stunned. Some claim that he went even farther, suggesting that she should just endure her mental health problems without discussing them and that they were her own fault. However, the remark that really infuriated people was that, according to reports, Marsau said something like, "I don't have time to sit around and babysit someone's emotions. Either you take care of your business or you don't. You don't have to let a bad day stop you from living." Let's take a moment now. Can you think of someone saying that to someone who has been fighting cancer, who has been trying to remain strong while bearing the burden of her marriage, her friendships, and her personal struggles? It would be an understatement to say that Marsau's remarks were offensive. Fans immediately criticized him on social media for his callous and contemptuous demeanor. He was being callous, according to some. Others believe that his lack of regard for Kimmy and the difficulties she has been facing revealed something even more profound. The shocking part, though, is that Marsau reportedly defended his position, claiming that he was just being honest and that people should stop being so soft, rather than offering an apology or attempting to explain his remarks. He believed that those who allow their emotions to rule them will never succeed, so he wasn't being cruel, he was simply speaking the truth. Is that true though, or did Marsau simply paint himself as someone who denies the actual hardships that people face? The cast and fans' response has been strong. Some are fed up with him and want him to be held responsible, while others think he was just being his typical direct self and that the situation is being exaggerated. Regardless of your stance, however, one thing is certain: this event has permanently altered how people view Marsau. If you believe this to be a negative development, you should wait to hear what transpired next, as this situation went beyond simple backlash. Following Marsau's remarks, a significant event occurred that elevated everything to a new level. The plot takes an unexpected turn at this point. Marsau was completely mistaken if he believed that his statements would just be spoken and then forgotten. A storm erupted when his remarks regarding Kimmy's mental health were made public. But what's even more startling is how it affected not only Kimmy, but the entire cast of Love and Marriage Huntsville. First, let's talk about Kimmy. This was different for someone who has always made an effort to act morally and impartially in disputes. This wasn't just another dispute over friendships or business dealings. It wasn't petty drama. Fans saw a new side of Kimmy for the first time in a long time, and this was about something very personal, a side that was utterly frustrated, hurt, and disappointed. According to people familiar with the matter, Kimmy was devastated upon hearing what Marsau had to say, not only because of what he had said, but also because of the source. There was still mutual respect and understanding despite the occasional conflict within the group. Kimmy believed that at least, but Marsau's remarks totally dispelled that delusion. When did she finally speak up? Her reaction was forceful. Insiders claim that Kimmy just spoke the truth without losing her temper or becoming hostile. "You don't get to decide how strong I am. You don't get to tell me what I should or shouldn't feel. You have no idea what it's like to walk in my shoes," she allegedly said. Kimmy wasn't the only one who had something to say, but that statement alone sent shockwaves through the cast. Other cast members swiftly took sides in the escalating dispute. Some, predictably, supported Marsau, claiming that he was simply being his typical direct self and that people were exaggerating the situation. Others, however, weren't having it. And Melody Holt was among the most outspoken. You already know that Melody and Marcel have never gotten along if you've been watching the show. For years, their relationship has been tense. Melody frequently criticizes him for his antiquated ideas about women and misogynistic attitudes, and she let him have it when he mentioned Kimmy. "I keep telling y'all who this man really is, but somehow he keeps proving it himself," Melody allegedly wrote in a heated social media post. "You don't deny someone's pain, you don't minimize what they're going through, you don't kick someone when they're already fighting for their life. This ain't keeping it real, this is just being cruel." And that statement struck a deep chord. Thousands of fans gathered behind Melody when she spoke up, and comments poured in demanding accountability and an apology from Marcel. Melody has a sizable fan base. Some even advocated for his complete removal from the show, claiming that his presence was getting too poisonous. The most surprising development, though, was that Kimmy's own husband, Maurice Scott, was oddly quiet. Many questions were raised when fans noticed right away that Maurice didn't seem to have much to say while everyone else was picking sides. Why didn't he stand up for his wife? Why didn't he publicly criticize Marsau's statements? Or worse, was he scared to oppose his own brother? Did he agree with Marsau's remarks in private? The situation was further complicated by the deafening silence. However, Marsau wasn't backing down. In fact, he did something that shocked everyone. After seeing the backlash, he went on social media and intensified his remarks, allegedly saying, "People are too sensitive these days. Y'all want someone to hold your hand and tell you life is fair? Well, it's not. I said what I said and I meant it. If you can't handle the truth, that's your problem, not mine." This was in a since-deleted Instagram Live. Fans went crazy after hearing that statement. Comments poured in, accusing him of being cold-blooded, conceited, and out of touch. When it seemed like things could get any more intense, another bombshell was dropped, because what transpired next took this controversy to a whole new level and had serious repercussions for Kimmy, Marsau, and the future of the entire show. Some even began contacting the producers of Love and Marriage Huntsville, demanding that Marsau be held accountable for his words. Things take a drastic turn at this point, and you won't believe what follows. Marsau was gravely mistaken if he believed his remarks would just fade away in a few days. What began as a contentious exchange swiftly descended into a major PR catastrophe. The backlash came quickly, fiercely, and relentlessly. Love and Marriage Huntsville fans were quick to voice their outrage, with social media exploding with thousands of posts, tweets, and comments criticizing Marsau for his insensitivity. However, the conversation wasn't limited to casual viewers. Prominent figures in the entertainment industry and mental health advocates also joined in. The Cancel Marsau hashtag began trending on Twitter as a result of the social media uproar, with people demanding that the OWN network take action against him. Influencers and bloggers analyzed every word of his statement, flooding Instagram and TikTok with reaction videos. A therapist defended Marsau's remarks as harmful and contemptuous of those dealing with mental health issues in one of the most widely shared posts. There were more incidents behind the scenes that never aired, according to a former cast member who asked to remain anonymous. And this wasn't the first time Marsau had gone too far. Marsau Scott, a well-known mental health advocate, is using his T-shame to disparage and make fun of those who are already having difficulties by saying that when you have a platform, you have a responsibility. That's unacceptable. Even famous people voice their opinions by resharing parts of the dispute and criticizing Marsau's attitude. He was directly criticized by a few prominent Black people, particularly those who have raised awareness of mental health issues. A well-known TV personality made one particularly harsh tweet saying, "Black men already have a hard time speaking up about mental health. We don't need people like Marsau making it worse." It's embarrassing. Marsau's own social media pages were a battleground, with people clamoring for an apology in the comments section of every post he made, regardless of whether it was related to the controversy or not. Before the petitions arrived, some fans threatened to stop watching until he was held responsible. Others even tagged their own executives and urged them to step in. Yes, a number of online petitions were created calling for Marsau to publicly apologize to Kimmy or be suspended from the show. In a matter of days, one of the biggest petitions amassed over 20,000 signatures. All of these factors combined to put OWN Network in a very challenging situation. On the one hand, Marsau was a key character on the show. Whether viewers liked him or not, he maintained the drama, and drama is what draws viewers. The success of the show could suffer greatly if he is fired or suspended. On the other hand, they needed to safeguard their brand. They took pride in elevating Black voices, advocating for social causes, and encouraging constructive dialogue on family, community, and relationship issues. They risk coming across as complicit in Marsau's actions if they ignore his remarks. Network executives were therefore rushing around behind the scenes. According to insiders, urgent meetings were being held to determine how to handle the situation. A statement separating the network from Marsau's opinions was allegedly supported by some producers, while others contended that doing so might make matters worse. A rumor then began to circulate, sending fans into a complete frenzy. Unverified rumors state that Owen was thinking of inviting Dr. Heavenly Kess from Married to Medicine to the show in order to address Marsau's actions. For those who don't know, Dr. Heavenly has a reputation for speaking her mind and reprimanding troublesome men. They would be taking this controversy seriously if Owen truly intended to bring her in to mediate a conversation, but would Marsau even accept that, or would he decline and jeopardize further harm to his reputation? In his initial attempt to contain the damage, Marsau finally understood that he couldn't ignore the controversy after his social media accounts were attacked and the network was reportedly considering its options. He attempted to do damage control, as many celebrities and reality stars do when they find themselves in a difficult situation. He initially declined to offer an explicit apology. "People love to twist your words and create their own narratives," he wrote in an ambiguous Instagram story. "Real people, however, are aware of the unpleasant truth, which if anything made matters worse." He received a ton of criticism in the comment section of his post for doubling down rather than accepting responsibility. Many questioned why so many people, including mental health professionals, were upset if this was simply a misunderstanding. After realizing that his initial attempt had failed, Marsau made another attempt and addressed the criticism in a brief video. "I see a lot of y'all have things to say about my comments regarding Kimmy, and I just want to clear the air because I think people are misunderstanding what I meant," he said, acknowledging the controversy. He then went on to clarify that he never intended to mock Kimmy's struggles and that he believed in mental health awareness. He looked much more serious than usual in the clip, but he also defended himself, saying that he was just voicing his viewpoint and didn't believe he was being disrespectful. This is where things became really interesting, though, because he seemed to be making amends by taking another jab at the fans. "Half of the people who come for me don't even watch the show. You all love to act like you're outraged online." Any goodwill he may have had was quickly destroyed, and executives were probably watching all of this with their heads in their hands, wondering how things got so out of control. Fans were incensed, and mental health advocates were even more incensed. By this time, the scandal had grown into a much larger problem that endangered the reputation of the entire Love and Marriage Huntsville series. It was no longer just about Marsau and Kimmy.